Me too. Panther smiled at Tyler. So, if we stay till Thursday, Fred, Tyler has time to recuperate, get the rest he needs. When you get to Edinburgh, you don't have to stress about those last 34 miles. Take it easy. Be assured the time you get home, Daddy will be there. Now, I expect you're all hungry. I still sometimes forget that you understand us, Fred. Of course, it's a lot to process. Fred, does it feel like a poisonous chalice sometimes? Fred was astounded, somewhat taken aback by Basil's question. His wisdom was amazing. Basil, feel the room. What do you mean, Panther? Well, sometimes you spurt things out. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, sorry. Let me see if I can explain. What I have is a marvellous gift, incredibly blessed. There's no denying that, and I'm grateful. However, it can be overwhelming. Sometimes hearing things I never thought possible. The cruelty, how some people treat animals, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Fred, is that right? You drove Seamus, the capuchin monkey, to help Boris? My goodness me, that was 10 years ago. Fred had tears. Oh, sorry, Fred. Is he no longer with us? No, they're both still alive. It just took me back. The years fly by. That was the first time I met the mighty tree. They all looked stunned. You've met him? Oh, what's he like? How did it feel? How does he talk? Please, give Fred a chance to talk. Sorry, Mats. Sorry, Fred. That's all right. I understand. My heart was beating so fast. His garden backs onto a huge park. As you come out of the entrance to the park, you turn left, and his garden is the second. Now, he was so much bigger than I ever imagined. Mighty Oak is said to be over 1,000 years old. No one knows. I'm sure I've heard Dad say to George that you can get tree surgeons to age trees whilst they're still living. They can, that's the thing. They usually measure the girth of the trunk. However, so many tree surgeons have tried, but the results vary so drastically it cannot be logged. Good one, Fred. Huh? Oh, it's more the feeling, and I know you will want me to explain more thoroughly, but I just can't. It's impossible to explain. The peace, the love emanating from him is something you have to witness. I cannot explain enough in words. How does he talk? Is there a mouth on the trunk? No mouth. It just comes from the trunk. His voice was like nothing I've heard. Masculine but soft. Loud but quiet. I'm sorry, I'm not. It's hard to explain. I will say this, though. When he spoke to me, his voice resonated through my body. I'll admit I wept. It was tears of joy. They continued talking together for such a long time, sharing anecdotes, laughing, crying. Fred made a bed of folded blankets on the floor for Tyler. The others could sleep where they chose. He fed them all. Panther and Matilda lapped up the fresh cold milk. The dogs had fresh water. Billy was thrilled with the newspaper cutting. May I put it on my wall, please? Of course, son. Uncle, I'm so pleased. They look so well. I thought they might be skinny. Uncle Chuck laughed. Billy, I did too. Billy ran upstairs with his picture. He stopped and shouted through the banisters. Tyler is all right, I know it, Uncle, and ran upstairs. Billy. Yes, Mum? Come here, please. He ran downstairs. Yes, Mum? Billy, I know you're excited, but we don't shout from room to room. Mum, you just... Good night, son, George interjected before Billy got himself into trouble. George caught Chuck's eye. They both knew what Billy was thinking. Who could understand a woman's logic? Fred returned. Well, you will be pleased to know you're not in any newspapers today. Why, Fred? Why did you think we would be? Matilda, I did. The elderly couple who saw you get in the car. They turned back towards us. I half expected that to be in the paper. I can see it now. Christmas angels, jump in red car. Don't, Fred. Don't even joke about it. Basil, may I ask? Fred, I know what you're going to ask. Dad bought me the Christmas collar for me when I was a year old. At first, the little bells were annoying, but I got used to hearing them. Daddy took it off in the new year. I was almost hysterical. I suppose, what did you call it, Matilda? Your comfort blanket. I couldn't sleep. It felt strange not hearing that little noise. It was actually Billy's mummy. Suggested it to Dad and he put it back on, and I was myself again. Thank you, Basil, I understand. Tyler, how are you? A little easier, thank you. Well, Tyler, you've got 3 days here, complete rest. Ribs can take a long time to heal. 3 to 6 weeks. No adventures for you, please. All right, Fred, thank you. Monday passed on the small holding very quickly, all decidedly jubilant on the knowledge that Chuck's animals were safe and well. After eating their dinner, Fred shared many more stories of the mighty tree. Thank you, Fred. Love hearing these stories. Is the cotton cockle closed? Fred was delighted they remembered the name of his fish and chip shop. Of course we remember, Fred. You're famous in Mighty Oak stories. I never thought of that. Yes, it's open. A friend's son is working there. Fred? Yes, Basil. We really are so grateful to you. It's easier to sleep, not having worries in your head. Will we be discovered while we're sleeping? Will we find a safe place? Will we find food? Thank you. You're very welcome. Chuck stopped at the newsagent's after dropping Billy off. He was perusing the newspaper stand. Oh, what's this? He picked 4 of the papers. As he walked in, a man bumped into him. Oh, no. It would be him, the village gossip. Chuck? Henry? These animals lately in all the papers look remarkably like your pets. Henry, it's odd you said that. George and I said the exact same thing. Oh, right. Be rewards next. Rewards? Yeah. Someone must know who they belong to. I think they found him, Henry. Have you not seen the paper yet? Henry looked really cross. He looked at the paper. Coming close to finding the Christmas Angel's owner, a man in a red Austin Marina estate, is seen. He angrily folded the paper. I'll read it when I get home. Chuck put on his broadest smile. Okay, Henry, nice to see you. Bye. Chuck started whistling. Henry stormed off down the road. Chuck watched him walk up the high street. Yes, Scotland, definitely right decision. As Chuck returned, he was greeted by Betty. She started Chuck. Oh, okay, put these safe, please. Oh, more news? Yes, don't worry. Chuck walked in the barn. George was kneeling by the ewe. Any time, Chuck. Fred returned with the papers. Morning, Fred. Oh, is something wrong? That Elsley couple, I was afraid of this. More news on our Christmas Angels. After interviewing a couple outside of Whipsnade Zoo, they confirmed a sighting of the elusive Christmas Angels. Is this mystery finally coming to a conclusion? Mr. Michael Pickering and his wife Patricia confirmed it was indeed the Christmas Angels, as one of the dogs clearly wore the Christmas collar. They proceeded to all get into a red Austin Marina estate. They were wagging their tails and clearly knew the man, approximately 6 foot tall, greying beard and moustache. Sadly, the license plate was not noted. Mr. Pickering explained that they came across the large dog, very muscular, unaware of breed. It had a dog tag which was strangely blank. No lead. It was friendly. Michael and Patricia had thought to take the dog to the local police station. As they were just tying a makeshift lead to the collar, an Alsatian came out from the bushes growling. They were concerned it could be rabid or something. They stepped back away from the dog. The aforementioned man pulled up alongside them. He was very pleasant. The dogs obviously knew him and jumped straight in the car. He explained that they'd recently moved 5 miles away. When discovering them not in the garden, he'd wondered if they'd gone back to their previous house. Michael had not even thought about the Christmas Angels until he turned around and pointed out to Patricia that the dog with the Christmas collar and 2 cats had come out of the bushes and jumped into the red car. Please, we urge the public to report any sightings to the local news stations. Oh no, Fred. Thank goodness they didn't think to get the license plate. When I take you to the station, we'd better leave in the early hours. It will mean hanging about. For you, I'm sorry. It's not your fault, Fred. Billy and Betty poked their heads around the barn door. Anything yet? Oh, precious. How many? 2. Billy, come here. Look. Dad, they're lovely. Billy sat on the ground. No problems, Daddy. No, son. Clever girl. You two look shattered. Come in, I'll get dinner on. Chuck, I think you wanted to share? Oh, the papers. Thanks, Betty. Mummy, may I stay here just until dinner's ready? I won't disturb them, I promise. Change out of your uniform first. Thanks, Mum. Chuck and George were sat at the table discussing the story. Who is this man, Chuck? I don't know. You know all my friends, George. Oh, yeah. Makes no sense, any of it. Chuck, the dog tags. I know. I bought new ones. I was waiting to get the new telephone number. Chuck, imagine what a blessing that is. Why? If they had their names. George, you're right. People like Henry. Exactly, Chuck. Still makes no sense. Tyler never has shown aggression. And then wagging their tails appeared like they knew him. It's definitely them, Chuck. The man mentioned the Christmas collar. But they wouldn't go with a stranger, George. I'll be honest, mate, I don't understand any of this. Well, it seems obvious to me. Billy had come downstairs after changing out of school uniform and had overheard the conversation. What's obvious, young Billy? He's helping them with their journey, that's all. They wouldn't go with anyone else, definitely not. They trust the man to help them. Billy went to the bureau, laid out the atlas. Look, they were here, then look, he picked them up here. There's a plan. We just don't know it. Billy went to the door. Call me when dinner's ready, please, and ran out the door. The 3 adults sat dumbfounded.